Hello, everyone, and welcome to our ELLSA PD Online. I am Alice Corsia, one of the board members, and I'm coming to you from Bangkok, Thailand. For those of you who are new to ELLSA, I want to tell you our story. The story started back in 2013 here in Bangkok with a group of educators from NIST. And our goal was to provide best practices to our multilingual learners in Asia. Throughout the years, we were lucky to participate and organize and connect through 6 different conferences. And since COVID happened, the board has strived to continue the PD, and we organize different online job alikes and different Twitter PD. Our reach goes quite far. As you can see, we have members and participants from many different countries, not just in Asia, but also outside of Asia. We are really excited to have you here today, and we really hope you are gonna enjoy and learn and be able to take different strategies back to your classroom on Monday.
Good morning, everyone. Hi, and welcome to ELLSA's very first virtual PD day. Let's hope it's the last. I'm Tony Qureshi, and my role on the board is that of Chapter Connector. It's a fantastic role that I've had the pleasure of being in for 4 years now. It's been a journey and a half, battling through many obstacles, many of those caused by the COVID pandemic. But it's been an amazing ride so far, where I've had the opportunity of working with some of the most dedicated and passionate English language learning specialists from all over the Asian continent. And I'm proud to say that we have passionate ELLSA chapter coordinators from over 12 countries in Asia, spanning from New Delhi to Ho Chi Minh to Tokyo. We really are well represented across the region. And despite the times we see ourselves in, we continue to grow. So that's great. I'm so proud that we are all here today, and it's been a great achievement from everyone involved that we finally got to this point. A huge thanks must go out to all the wonderful presenters today, many of which are leading ELLSA chapters in their countries. So thank you for being so amazing and stepping up to share your wonderful expertise with us all. Thank you and enjoy the event.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ELLSA community. My name is Justin Garcia, and my pronouns are they, them, and I'm the ELD coordinator up here in Chiang Mai, Thailand. I just wanted to say welcome and thank you so much for joining us during this PD day. It's been a couple of years since ELLSA has had an in-person conference. However, we've done a lot virtually just to continue to build community and share strategies and pedagogy. Thank you so much for the presenters, to all the presenters who have taken the time to share their expertise, and I am excited to learn from you all. I hope you have a great day. Thank you. It is my pleasure to introduce our virtual keynote for today, Ethan Tinh Trinh. Ethan is teaching and pursuing their doctorate at the Middle and Secondary Education Department, Georgia State University, with a minor in Women's Studies. Their major influences include Gloria Anzaldúa, Thich Nhat Hanh, and Karen Barad. Ethan's work focuses on the intersection of gender, race, and language education that embraces queerness as a healing, teaching, and research practice. Ethan is also published in a wide range of journals, including the International Journal of Qualitative Studies and Education, Journal of Homosexuality, Genealogy, and Qualitative Report, as well as book chapters in different edited volumes. Ethan's co-edited book, Critical Storytelling, Multilingual Immigrants in the United States, with Luis Javier Pinton Herrera, published by Brill Sense in 2021. They are the 2022 TESOL Leadership Mentoring Program awardee and the outgoing chair in LGBT and Social Responsibility Intersect section at TESOL International. Originally from Mec Dong Delta, Vietnam, Ethan enjoys creative writing, playing with their puppy, and having Vietnamese iced coffee in their free time. So again, it's my pleasure to introduce Ethan and their keynote, Building a Community of Critical Love in English Language Teaching, Moving Global Conversations Forward.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our conversation today. My name is Ethan Trinh. I use they, them as my gender pronouns. I am currently teaching pre-service and in-service teachers at Georgia State University in Atlanta, Georgia. I am honored to be invited as a guest speaker today at the English Language Learning Specialist in Asia. And my talk today is going to be about critical love, right? So that is my fancy title, Building a Community of Critical Love in English Language Teaching, Moving Global Conversations Forward. So welcome everyone. If you are hearing the clapping sound, the noise in the background, that means I am currently attending another international conference in California. So technically, I'm attending two conferences at the same time. So welcome everyone. So that is the outline of our conversation today. First of all, what could be critical of, right? The second of all is critical of for or by whom? And then the third question is, what does critical love do in English language classrooms? So we're going to try to go through all of the three questions at the same time. Not at the same time, one by one. Sorry about that. So first of all, what could be critical love, right? So I'm using the word could because there is no single way of understanding critical love. And I use the word could because I want to invite everyone to think with me what critical love could be in your own space and time, in your own classroom, right? In the culture, in the society where you are teaching. So let's explore the critical love together, and hopefully we could come to a critical love, the definition of critical love at the end of the section today. So before I come to think with the definition of critical love, I want to introduce you three figures, three people who have the influence in my thinking, and I'm calling them thinker, healer, teachers at the same in one word. So, first of all, that is Bell Hooks. Bell Hooks passed away in December last year, but I'm feeling like her spirit, her ways of doing and thinking, her teaching philosophy are still with me, are still with us, the people who are doing this work. So I probably will not use the verb was, but I'm going to use the word is, because I want to honor her spirit. I want to honor her thinking. So Bell Hooks talks about the engaged pedagogy, right? Bell Hooks talk about the engaged pedagogy where the engaged pedagogy focuses on the process of a teacher's self-actualization, right? To promote the well-beings, to talks about how we can empower students, how can we empower ourselves and empower students to think about to think about the social issue, to think about the different aspect of education, to engage the student into some sort of the conversation where it's gonna bring the social change, right? And the conversation sometimes it is uncomfortable to some of the people, including teacher and student, but the uncomfortable conversation need to happen in order for us to grow. So Bell Hooks is the person who influenced the way that I'm thinking and teaching. Bell Hooks also influenced by Thich Nhat Hanh. So Thich Nhat Hanh is also a, a thinker, a healer, a thầy, a teacher, where we call him thầy in Vietnamese. And Thich Nhat Hanh passed away earlier this year in January 2021. but I want to honor his teaching, his spirit, his philosophy. So I am going to honor him and would like to use the word is in my speech today. So Thich Nhat Hanh talks a lot about the different stages of self-reflection, about the healing, about the now, about the current being, the time being of the here and the now, and focus on the meditation, right? But also focusing on self-exploration, thinking about like the healing process, thinking about teacher as also a healer. I'm also influenced by Thich Nhat Hanh in the way that he thinks, he teaches me how to explore myself, how to think through the healing process, how to help me to face with the fears that I have. In addition to bell hooks and Thich Nhat Hanh, Good True Thinker Sach is the professor that have an influence on me. You know, every one of us has a person who influenced us to think and to do educationally and pedagogically, right? Dr. Thinker Sach is a full professor at Georgia State University, and she is a critical scholar. She is a critical professor, but on top of that, she has love for her student. She guides her student to think critically about a self, one person's self, our identity, our positionality, our privilege. And I have a privilege, I have an honor to work with her, to learn from her, so that I can be who I am today. Her love for me in particular and for students in general are phenomenal, because she really cares, but she also teaches us how to think about the relationality of everything around us, about those people who are marginalized and oppressed in the society, and guide us to think about the privilege that we have. So bell hooks, Thich Nhat Hanh, and Good True Thinker Sach are the three key figures, are the three thinker, healer, teachers that have an influence on me. Now, when I'm influenced by the way that they think, right, and the way that they do in their work, I think about love, but I'm also thinking about critical love. And the word critical is the word that I got to learn from Dr. Tinker Sach. I learned from bell hooks as well, because I remember there's a course that I took with Dr. Tinker Sach, and she asked me and asked the student, what is criticality? And we've been working on the word criticality the whole semester. So with the criticality, we not only like focus on ourselves, right? But we also think about our positionality, think about how we situate ourselves with the world, with the society that we are in, with the culture, with the language, right? We ask the questions about the power. We ask the questions about the privilege. We ask the questions about the status in our own space, in our society, culture, classroom, family. And critical love, for me, in education, could be an embodiment of love through engaged pedagogy, where students and teachers are co-creating a safe, dialogic, and respectful space to discuss, challenge, and disrupt unjust social issues with one another. Critical love not only centers love and joyfulness in the teaching and learning process, but also guides us toward a healing process where each of us is constantly reflecting critically on our positionalities, identities, and privileges in order to become a better human being. Critical love witnesses from self-transformation to communal and social change as a result of it. So the next question is critical love for or by whom? So for me, critical love is by or for all students and teachers who are committed to self-exploration, self-development, self-change, aimed toward building an equitable and peaceful world for all. As a queer, Vietnamese queer, immigrant, accented, um, English language teacher, educator, I'm thinking about myself. I'm thinking about like all of the multiple layers of oppression that I am facing. But I'm also thinking about the privileges that I'm bearing in this body, right? I'm thinking about how I can how can I think with the body, thinking with all of the privilege and the power and the status that I have in order to connect with other people, in order to uplift other people. I have to keep constantly reflecting on myself, right? In order to connect with the student, in order to share the critical love with the student and teachers around me and with me. And we think about all of the students who are silent, whose voice are silent and invisible in the classroom. We think about them. We think about us, and then we think about them and how we can do in order to build a bridge. How can we build a connection with all of them? And everything starts with a self. And I want you to think about that. I want us to do a constant and critical reflection on our positionality and the way, the space, the love that we are doing, we are giving out. Are we actually creating a critical love space for all of the identities, all of the identity in the classroom, for example, LGBTQ plus student in the classroom? Are we treating them equally? Are we listening to them? Are we creating a space for all of the identity to speak? I want you to think about that. When you think about your own positionality, your own privilege, your own power, your own status, the language that you are speaking, I want you to think deeply about that so that you are able to nurture the critical love in your own space. Now, what does critical love do in English language classroom? Um, this list is not exhaustive, okay? And I'm inviting everyone to continue writing and adding more points into this list. Critical love reminds us of checking in our privilege before the class, being mindful of the language of the power and the status that we have. It reminds us of sitting with the healing process together, and it moving us toward diversity, equity, and inclusivity and peace for all. And the reason why I use gerunds, the verb in every point, because that is the process. That is the process that never comes to an end because it just keeps constantly moving and thinking and moving and thinking. So I encourage you to think about that. to think about critical love, to think about your own self and how you can come up with a definition for your own. Thank you. That is my email, ethan.trin14@gmail.com. Let's stay in touch and extend the conversation. And thank you everyone for listening to my speech today. And hopefully we will cross paths in the future and enjoy the conference. Have a good day.